what my hair story is. It's just coming together, sharing stories, sharing the conversation, getting everyone talking, and just celebrating the beauty that we have as beautiful African women.
Whoa, oh, oh. Why did you take us away? Whoa, oh, oh. Why did you take...
The myth that African hair in its natural state doesn't grow. This is a myth. You know, you don't have to relax your hair, or it can grow in its natural state.
We all have our own stories to share. Some of them are very sad, and some of them are heartbreaking, and some of them are great. But we all have our own story to share.
Ooh, this is my hair story.
So my story is a young girl in the 90s on the Cape Flats, a young colored girl. All I wanted was my fringe to just stay flat. Just don't move, you know? Just stay there.
What I'm going to share today, and I feel like I need to share it, is the real story of my hair and my children's hair.
My granny would like keep me under the sun with a big Panama hat going, please darling, you can't get any more crus, you know? So and keep that skin pale, girl. If you want a husband, you gotta be fair, you know? So those kinds of things are we don't raise our kids like that. And isn't that refreshing that our generation doesn't feel the need to carry that baggage, you know?
Ooh, this is my hair story.
I decided a few years ago, after my hair was breaking a lot, that I needed to go natural. Once I started going natural, it was just such an out-of-this-world experience. I don't know. It actually sent me into quite an existential crisis, because I was like, I've never felt this hair that grows out of my head. I don't even know how to take care of it. So my mom and my sister, who's sitting over there, actually introduced me to shea butter. My mom had brought it, like, I don't know if you've ever seen anything that comes from like West Africa. It's always like in a black container or something. It looks really conspicuous, and my mom's like, this is what you need to use, like this is it. And I'm like, what? Like, and you just look, and it didn't rub properly. I was like, what is this thing? You rub it. Anyway, I eventually started using it, and I was like, shea butter is the gospel. But I just wanted to speak to a lot of the naturals who come to our table have been asking me questions about, you know, how do you use it? You know, people want to know how you use it. Now, first of all, shea butter, just like coconut oil, just like any oil, is an oil. Guys, it's not a moisturizer. You can't just put, so I've had a lot of people say, oh, I've been using shea butter, but my hair's breaking. And I was like, how is that possible? You can't just put an oil on your head dry, right? You need to follow the lock method. The lock method, put your hands up if you're familiar with lock. Okay, LOC, okay? But, so liquid or leave-in, oil and cream, okay? A leave-in that I've just created is just aloe vera juice and water and glycerine. So you're gonna spray the aloe juice on your hair. This is like a styling regimen. Okay, spray aloe vera juice, and then you put in a cream. Now, a cream can be anything. I prefer water-based cream. So you can use shea butter as your cream or coconut oil, but you also need to recognize shea butter is actually just a heavy oil. So it's actually a sealant. So aloe vera gel whipped with some coconut oil also works as an amazing cream. Or your curly creams that the other ladies at the other exhibitions are offering are also great. And then you put your shea butter on. And so that is how you use shea butter.
It all started around 1994. I was pregnant then. And I used to have a lot of heartburn. And then people, those around me, they kept saying, oh, your baby's going to be born with lots of hair. And that was exciting. And then I was excited about this, and I remember this one night, I even had a dream that I gave birth to this beautiful baby girl. But in the morning, I woke up and I was like, oh, I forgot to look at the hair. And I so wished to go back and check this baby's hair. But anyway, it was gone. And then eventually my baby was born, but she had just a few strands at the top of her crown, and there was nothing else. She was just bald everywhere. And then anyway, I embraced it because the baby was healthy and beautiful, what can I say? And then there's me falling pregnant again. Then I thought, never mind the hair, as long as the baby is healthy. And I gave birth to this boy, but his head was full of hair. And I didn't even think about it then. But then again, I still wanted my girl to have nice hair. And then around 1999, we lived in Cyprus then, where I think Afro was never heard of in that place. Because wherever we go, people will ask questions, especially when the kids started nursery school around 3 or 4 years old. People will come to me and ask, how do you tell between a girl and a boy if they both have the same Afro? Hairstyle, not that they will call it Afro anyway. And that was hurting. And I could take it as a mother, but when the kids really started school, it was sad. And they would go for swimming lessons, and then people would go and pull my daughter and say, you know how Afro goes shrinking when it's wet? And then they'll pull in, how are you going to get your hair back to normal? All these things that I had to, but the thing is, I think the bad part was that I didn't have the answers to the questions too, so it was hurting me too, and I was actually giving it to my children because I had no confidence with my own hair, and whatever they felt, I was feeling it. And then I remember this one day, my daughter's friend came to sleep over, and then at bath time, I had both kids in the bathtub. Then when we were done, the friend walked out, and then my daughter stayed behind, and I'm like, okay, we're done, bath time is over. But I saw the sadness in her face, and I said to her, why are you so sad? And I thought she was honestly angry because bath time was over, and then she went, Mommy, why isn't my hair as beautiful as Maria's? And that hurts. That hurts because it's what we have inside us, that our hair is not beautiful. And when your child looks at you and you have to answer her and say, no, your hair is beautiful, but you're not feeling it. And since that question, I decided to get out there and find the answers to this question, which is why today I'm involved with hair. And this was since that question of around 1999. The basic ingredient with Afro Pride is the baobab oil, which is found, the biggest tree of baobab is in Limpopo, but it's found in places like Madagascar and other countries in Africa. The reason we decided to use baobab oil is that it's got healing and anti-aging factors. So if your hair was damaged, either from climate, the sun, the sea, the snow, or chemical processing, then that's a basic ingredient. So most of our products have got that. We've got shea butter. We've got raw shea butter and coconut and olive and baobab oil, so people can see and feel and touch. When you see it somewhere, at least you will know how the real thing looks like, because I know that is real. And it's meant to moisturize, nourish, and grow the hair. Like she says, there was always that myth that black hair doesn't grow. It does grow, and the relaxer's got nothing to do with it. Hair, relaxers don't grow hair, they straighten whatever has grown. So it's just to be straight instead of being curly, not to grow it. All of our products are sulfate-free, they're alcohol-free, they're paraben-free, and with any questions when it comes to the formulation of the product, because all I did, I went to the chemist and I said, this is what I want to achieve.
Ooh, this is my hair story.
Like we are creating our own movement here. We don't necessarily feel the need to adopt American terms like 3C, 4A. We do use them, but after spending a lot of time with trichologists, which are hair doctors, and all kinds of application scientists, formulators, biochemists. We looked at the 9 or 10 different hair types that are in South Africa, and we are all, by the way, sitting here with the 9 or 10 different hair types. Some of us have 3 or 4 on our heads at any given time, which makes it hard to figure out what your hair is going to do to you in the morning.
Ooh, ah.
Destructive hair habits are becoming more and more passé. Nobody really wants to burn their kids' scalps anymore. I mean, I walked into a salon yesterday, and there was a mum about to Brazilian her 5-year-old daughter's hair and blow wave it, and I said, wait, give me 10 minutes. And we took this little girl aside. She had these beautiful popping blonde curls, and we co-washed her, and we detangled her with our fingers, and she said, oh, that doesn't hurt. And I said, uh-huh. And then we just gently diffused her with our styling creams, and within 12 minutes, she was ready to go, smiling. Nobody had burnt her scalp. She hadn't had to sit through the chemical process. She hadn't had to have her ears burning with an iron. By the way, an iron is the equivalent of sticking your head in the oven. So I know we all do it, but do it with care. Why is the approach to black hair care dumbed down so often? Why do they assume that we only want petroleum and water, and if you just stick some Vaseline over it, the problem will go away? Yet, if you look at the design and the technology that goes into European hair care, look at the activas that have been developed in laboratories to create shine. Activas without silicone to create shine have been used on European hair for decades. I am the only person importing those activas from Germany, and they've actually done a study on me through Croda Laboratories because they didn't believe it would work on what they called ethnic hair. So I keep replying back and saying, this is African hair. Okay, we're all Africans, so we can let go of the word ethnic and just say, we all have different textures of African hair. So if it can work on a Caucasian hair in terms of shine, why would you assume it's not going to work on this? So we did the study, and they pitted me up against things like Dark and Lovely and Tresemme and one other salon brand, and we won each time. So it shows. If you don't dumb down a product, assuming your audience doesn't know, you can actually formulate, design, and craft something using activas that actually work.
Ooh, ah. This is my hair story.
I'm sharing with you this picture about my 2 boys because, as you can see, they both have very different hair. And being a mother of 2 boys, I then also realized that I am molding and growing the future boyfriends, husbands, brother. And as much as, yes, it's about making, finding yourself and being proud of who you are, what other people say and do affects us. And the men in our lives have a big role to play. Whether they comment about how great your hair looks when it's flat ironed, or they ask you, like, what happened? The hairdryer break. It affects you. So I then realized, you know what? I am in such a privileged position because I get to teach these boys that any hair is beautiful hair.
Ooh, ah.
So these are my 2 beautiful boys, and they're going to go on their own journeys in life. And yes, I am going to be the mother-in-law from hell, but it will never be because she has a kruskop. Hey? How many of you guys have experienced mom-in-laws where that is actually an issue? I'm extremely lazy, and I really hate shopping. I don't like looking around and finding that thing and going to that shop, and I don't have the time or the energy. And so what I want to share with you guys, and this has worked for me for the last 2.5 years since I've returned to being natural, is keep it simple. Find something that works and stick to it.
Woman, my spirit is free, and the person that I love most in the world is me. I love my
It is in the kinks of the koi and the straight strands of Malay slaves. From there shoots her roots. Roots that now lay flat on her back as she backs away and puke at the thoughts of her barefooted forefathers in sheepskin as clothes and bows on their backs. Let's not even mention that hair. And so she bows at what they say she should be, a one-dimensional kind of beauty, walking in the shade of lies told about her heritage eons on end. And so she bends and she bruises, she cuts and she abuses, but she dare not lose that straight, silky, smooth lies of thin strands hanging on her back. It is in the kinks of the koi and the straight strands of Malay slaves, from there shoots her roots. But they say, relax, it's just a relaxer, relaxing away the coarseness in her. Relax, we just want her to be like those ladies that you see in the adverts, the shampoo adverts on TV. Relax, we just want her to be beautiful beyond herself. Relax, this is how it should be. Along with her tongue and the sounds and the clicks that should have spiraled from her mouth, she has been programmed by those around her to straighten the spiraled anomaly on her head too. She is not her hair. She is a soul, she is action, she is behavior. She is not her image. Although her image is quite important to her, therefore it's okay for her to relax and weave herself together to cover her natural self, to be considered beautiful. It is in the kinks of the koi and the straight strands of Malay slaves, from there shoots her roots, which she now grows as she grows to love herself, which she now grows as she grows to redefine herself, which she now grows to liberate herself, which she now grows to emancipate herself. And for once in her life, she feels at home in her own skin. She is able to have real conversations with herself about who she is and where she comes from. She is able to celebrate her strengths and laugh at her flaws. She is able to accept herself and those around her. It is in the kinks of the koi and the straight strands of Malay slaves, from there shoots her roots, which now sits comfortably on her skull. Her hair story is her history. Although it does not define her, it allows her to shape who she is and who she becomes. Her hair story is her history. Don't you dare try and change that.